Hello, welcome to Hindsight. I am Janeen Poon Kwong-Glenn, and this is the Kvtv news for the month of April 2014. This month's headlines: Cabinet reshuffled yet again following the resignation of former Minister of Tourism. The question of high levels of domestic and child abuse is raised once again after the double murders of 2 toddlers. Regionally, violence continues in Venezuela, and internationally, tensions remain high in the Ukraine crisis. Finally, former President and Prime Minister E.N.I. Robinson dies.
This is Kvtv, and this is our new show, Moi. Moi basically is the acronym for Makeup Artistry Highlighted. I'm here with Miriam today. Miriam, tell us what look you're going to achieve today.
Today we're going to create a fresh spring look for you guys.
And today we have a kind of juicy topic for you girls. Well, and guys, it's all about checking out your BF's phone, whether it's your boyfriend, your best friend.
Mr. Anand, she is very much international singer in regards to film song, in regards to every Indian-based recording you can think about.
For this month's top story, Cabinet has been reshuffled yet again following the resignation of former Minister of Tourism, Chandri Sharma. This comes after allegations of assault on his former girlfriend, Sasha Singh, the managing director of AMS Biotech Security Concept and AM Shore TNT Limited. Sharma is succeeded by the new Minister of Tourism, Gerard Hadid. The resignation comes in the eve of last month's dismissal of Dr. Glenn Ramdas Singh after Caribbean Airlines flight attendant Ronel Laidlew filed a complaint about his disorderly conduct on board a domestic flight in March. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar announced that within the next 2 weeks, she would undertake a reconfiguration of cabinet and of the membership of state boards. At present, another government minister remains at the center of a sex scandal. The alleged victim, a man, claims to have been the victim of physical sexual advances by the minister. Investigations are being undertaken. This month's activities were marked by the 5th murder-suicide of the year, this time involving a double murder tragedy of 2 toddlers in Matura. On Sunday, 14th of April, 10-month-old Omari Mears and his 3-year-old sister, Kiana Mears, were found dead in Mauritius after being poisoned by father Barry Karamath. Karamath's body was also found nearby and bore traces of poison. The incident occurred after an earlier altercation with the children's mother, Okilia Mears, during which Karamath threatened the children's lives. Mears stated that she was often subjected to physical abuse during their 3-year relationship and that Karamath frequently made threats to her, but it was the first time he threatened to hurt the children. Mears left the children in the care of her father on Friday night before going to work. The death of 13-year-old Brandon Hargreaves after a fall at the St. Michael's Home for Boys once again brought his sad story to light. In 2012, Brandon was rescued after being locked overnight in a dog kennel with the animal. The malnourished child was found naked by police and bore several bite marks and scars from beatings about his body. The punishment was meted out by his relatives for being hardened. Reports suggest that the child had not been wayward or troublesome in any way, and that his behavior was no different from other children his age. These stories have once again sparked intense debates about the nation's high levels of domestic and child abuse. Regionally, violence continues during the Easter weekend in the neighboring Venezuelan capital, Caracas, between police and opponents of President Nicolas Maduro. Since February, the demonstrations have been started by students demanding for action against the country's high crime rates, growing inflation, and food shortages. The disputes have since grown into a wider opposition movement, and many of the protestants say they will not stop until President Maduro resigns. There have also been demonstrations in support of the government, with tens of thousands of pro-Maduro supporters taken to the streets. Hundreds of people have been arrested, and more than 40 persons died in violent protests. In international news, tensions remain high as the US threatened to impose tougher economic sanctions if Russia fails to honor a new international agreement to help curb the crisis in the Ukraine. Ukraine remains in crisis since February, when President Yanukovych was toppled. Russia then annexed the Crimean Peninsula in a move that provoked international outrage. Russia, Ukraine, the EU, and the US have agreed during talks on Thursday that illegal military groups in Ukraine must be dissolved and that those occupying government premises must be disarmed and leave. The sides also decided there would be an amnesty for all anti-government protesters. However, pro-Russian separatists in several cities are refusing to leave buildings, defying a key term of the agreement. They contend that the Kiev government was illegal and vowed that they will not go until it stepped down. In response, the White House has increased pressure on Russia to use its influence over the separatists occupying the buildings in 9 cities and towns in eastern Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin's spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, expressed disappointment of the US's assessment of the Geneva deal and threat of further sanctions. Peskov likened the US's treatment towards Russia to that of the treatment of a schoolboy. Finally, we end our newscast with homage to the country's first man to become both Prime Minister and President. Following an illness of several months, Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson died at the St. Clair Medical Center on the 9th of April 2014. Ian R. Robinson was internationally recognized for his proposal that eventually led to the founding of the International Criminal Court. Robinson would be remembered for his role during the 1990 coup attempt by the Jamaat al-Muslimin. He and much of his cabinet were held hostage at the Red House for 6 days by gunmen under Yassin Abu Bakr. Robinson famously directed the army to attack with full force, subsequently resulting in a beating from his captors and a shot in his leg. He leaves to mourn 2 children, David and Anne Margaret, and a granddaughter. A 5-day state funeral is scheduled to commence on Tuesday, the 29th of April, 2014. Now for our Your Opinion question of the month. Schools nationwide are reopening this week in the wake of last term's spate of violence. We'd like for you, our Kvtv viewers, to send us your thoughts and your comments about the indiscipline in schools. Email us your comments or comment on the newsfeed below. This takes us to the end of this month's Kelly Village TV News, Hindsight. Please stay tuned for next month's edition. I am your host, Janeen Poon Kwong-Glenn, and I wish you Godspeed.